This episode is devoted entirely to the DC League of Superpets. For those of you unfamiliar with this franchise, the DC League of Superpets is an animated film based on the DC Comics Superpets. When the Justice League is captured, Superman's dog Krypto must form a team with a group of superpowered shelter animals in order to rescue them. The film features Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Krypto and Kevin Hart as Ace, who is Batman's pet boxer, and is a fun adventure that the whole family will enjoy. In honor of this film, we'll be drawing Krypto, but you won't need superpowers to draw this super dog. I'll teach you how to draw Krypto using easy-to-draw simple shapes. And when we're done with that, we're going to head to Metropolis and check out the Xbox One video game based on the Superpets in the Classic Game Showcase. I know all of my Player 2s are going to love what I have in store for them this episode.
So I'm wondering, Player 2s, if you were able to have a superpower pet sidekick, what type of animal would you have? As for me, I'm not exactly sure.
I think it would be kind of cool to have a pet mouse who could grow or shrink at will, but I don't think that would work because my wife is scared to death of mice. Maybe I'd have a cat with the ability to control electricity, but I don't think that would work either because I'm deathly allergic to cats. I got it. Since we go big on Rob's Arcade, my super pet would be a bear. As for superpowers, he really wouldn't need any because, well, he's a bear. But since I'm in law enforcement when I'm not in the arcade, my pet would be in law enforcement as well. I think his name would be Officer Grizzly Bear, but I would just call him Grizz for short. He would be a gentle giant, very helpful and polite, but if you commit a crime while Grizz is on duty, you're in serious trouble.
So that's my idea for a pet sidekick. Now I want to see what my Player 2s can come up with. I want you all to create your own character and send it to me via the social media links listed in the description below, and I'll be sure to include your drawings in a future video. I can't wait to see what my super talented Player 2s can come up with. But for now, let's check our supplies and let's start drawing Krypto the Super Dog. Okay, Player 2s, let's start drawing Krypto the Super Dog. We're going to use the same process we always use. Step 1 is the guideline step. So in this step, we're going to take our pencils and we're going to press very lightly with our pencils. Pretty much just hard enough so we can see what we're drawing, because eventually we're going to go and we're going to erase all these lines. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle. Right after that, we're going to draw a slightly curved line right about here. Now this is going to help us with placement of the eyes, nose, and some of the other details later on in the drawing. After that, we're going to draw right about here another circle. Like the circle is going to extend a little bit underneath the original circle that we did here. After that, we're going to draw two lines. One right about here, one right about here. So this would be for Krypto's neck. Inside here, we're going to draw a triangle for Krypto's nose. Then we're going to draw a straight line here, and another triangle right here. Then we're going to draw another triangle, a straight line here, connecting to another triangle right about here, right about this size. So as you can see, our image is starting to take shape. So we have Krypto's ears, his head shape, his nose, his mouth, and his neck. We're going to keep pressing very lightly with our pencils, and we're going to start adding a few more details and stuff to start filling this drawing out a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw right about here a square, and we're going to just draw a little line that connects this square right to our original circle right there. We're going to go over our triangle here, and we're going to kind of curve it on the edges a little bit. And right about here, we're going to draw an upside down letter J type shape. So that would be for his nostril. Inside here, we're going to draw a curve and go a little bit outside of the circle that we did right here. And then we're going to take the curve over here. We're going to follow this curve down, start to curve it right about where our square starts, and bring it all the way up here into a curve, and then have a backward, or a letter C right there for his smile. So again, over here like so, we'll curve there, and then bring it up and around for the smile right there. Following our circle that we did here, we're just going to go a little bit darker on this and add a little bit of detail there so we can see the bridge of his nose. The next step is we're going to draw a straight line right here, which kind of separates our curve a little bit. And following where we did our guideline right here, we're going to separate this pretty much into two quadrants. So in this quadrant, we're going to draw a curved line here. Over this one, we're going to draw, it's going to be kind of like the letter J, but it's going to be larger and a little bit longer, so it'll go down to here. Then, a straight line here, a straight line here that goes right through. Again, we're going to try to keep everything, you might want to draw a guideline very lightly right here to help keep everything even over here. Draw a line right through here, and we're going to curve it with a letter U, and the same thing over here with a letter U over here. So these will be Krypto's eyes. At the bottom, we're just going to draw a little curve here, and inside we're going to draw his eyeballs, which are two circles. The smaller circle right there for a highlight, a smaller circle right there for a highlight, and then a small black circle on the inside right there. In our drawing, Krypto's got a little bit of a smirk, a little bit of a smug look on his face. So we're going to take over here by our original circle, and we're just going to add a little curve and then bring it down to about there. Going to extend this a little bit up here. So, see, player twos, even I make mistakes. So what I just observed on this drawing is that my line that I did up here was a little bit too short. So I'm just going to extend it just a little bit more, just to add a little bit more shape to Krypto's face. Now we're going to go to our triangles that we did for the ears. Again, these are just guidelines, so we're going to actually expand on these a little bit. So this one right here, since Krypto's head is slightly turned, his ear is going to slightly be behind his head, so that way it's going to be a little bit smaller. But we have our triangle shape, so we're going to take a small little curve, and we're going to kind of soften the edges of the triangle a little bit. So we're just going to add a curve right through there, and then again another one right on the edge of where his ear would be. Just going to go over this a little bit darker so you can see that. And then we're going to do something very similar to the other side, but instead we're going to extend this to make this ear larger and add a little bit more of a curve to it. So we're going to follow, again, it's very similar to what we did with the other one, and add just a little curve right there, softening the edges there. Starting here, we're going to add another little curve, but we're going to actually fatten up our shape that we originally did here. to down about here, go around to this, and then connect right there. We're going to add a little curve right over here. Sorry, player 2s, I messed that up a little bit. Just a slight little curve right to here, connecting his ear to his head. And then we're going to extend our guidelines that we did for his neck a little bit. We're going to make it a little bit fatter. So as you can see right now, we've just drawn Krypto's head, player 2s. Now we're just going to add a little bit more details and stuff. We're going to draw his collar, and then we can take our black felt tip pen or black magic marker, and we can ink over our pencil lines and have a finished piece. So we're going to go and draw a little curve right around here. Inside, and it might be easier too if we went and we did a guideline from here to here, kind of extending our guideline that we did from here to here. Inside here, we're going to draw a pentagon. So it's a 5-sided shape, just like the logo of Superman. So we're going to draw one straight line here, and we're going to connect that line to our guideline here. We're going to draw another straight line here. It's going to be a little bit fatter, up to here. And then we have our pentagon. And we're going to follow this line right here to here for Krypto's collar. A couple more little details and then we'll be finished with this and we can start inking our piece. So Krypto's collar has a little bit of a design, so it's a straight line here, another straight line there. Same thing on the other side over here, we're just going to draw a straight line. And then inside there we're going to draw kind of like a little box. Same thing over here. So if I'm going too fast, player 2s, don't be afraid to pause the video, to rewind the video. If you miss something, that's okay. That's the great thing about this being on YouTube, is that you can follow the directions here, but you can follow them at your own speed. So we'll continue with our drawing here. We're going to draw the logo inside of Krypto's Superman symbol. So we're going to draw inside of our pentagon shape. We're just going to go and make a smaller pentagon inside of there. Inside of the smaller pentagon, we're going to draw the letter S. So what I do is when I draw Superman's logo, I draw negative space. So I'm pretty much drawing what you don't see. So inside of this, instead of drawing the S part of it, I draw the shapes outside of the S, creating the S shape. So let me show you how I do that. So I drew a little straight line here and a little curve over here. So you pretty much just have a shape that looks like this. And then at the bottom, I draw another curve. I kind of follow this a little bit, bring it down around to here, and make it up like that. So that way I've just created the S shape. By not drawing just the S, I've drawn the outside stuff, the negative space. If you feel more comfortable drawing it the other way, all we have to do is just draw the S, starting here, just follow our guideline there, draw around here, draw around there, and there you go. So as of right now, player 2s, we have a completed sketch of Krypto in pencil. We're going to take our black felt tip pen or black magic marker, and we're only going to ink over the lines that we need. So at this step, take a look at your drawing, make sure that you have everything that you've done, that you haven't missed any steps. Your drawing should look similar to this, but if it doesn't look exactly like this, it's okay. Nobody's perfect. This is a learning process. We're all learning. I'm learning as I teach you all. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ink over Krypto's nose. Again, it's not going to be as triangular. It's going to be a little bit rounder, and I'm just going to take that around like this. So we have that shape. Then I'm going to go over the rest of his nose, softening everything along the way. And then the little letter C shape over his jaw. So we're going to take that and make that one continuous shape. Over his eyebrows, we're going to thicken the eyebrows just a little bit. Then over this little detail here. This detail is his cheek, actually, because when you smile, your cheek turns. So his cheek is turning upward a little bit. I'm going to go over his eyes. And the little details inside of his eyes. And over his head shape. His ear. His other ear. I'm going to do one continuous line right there so we can cover that part of his head. Over his neck. And go down above his collar. Bring that up to here. And then curve that down to there. And over the other part of his collar. Over his logo. And the rest of the S. Just finish up the last couple details. And there you have it, Player 2s. We have just drawn Krypto the Super Dog.
On this edition of the Classic Game Showcase, we're going to take a look at DC League of Superpets, The Adventures of Krypto and Ace on the Xbox One. This game is a tie-in to the DC League of Superpets animated film, but you don't need to worry about spoilers as this is an entirely different adventure. Lex Luthor is kidnapping stray animals from the streets of Metropolis with plans to place them in a zoo. It's up to the League of Superpets to stop him by rescuing the animals and matching them with their perfect owners. This is no easy task for our heroes, as Lex Luthor has dispatched an army of Lexbots to prevent the Superpets from accomplishing their mission. Gameplay is very similar to the classic Super Nintendo title Star Fox. Players select either Krypto the Superdog or Ace the Bat Hound and fly through the streets of Metropolis in 15 levels of rail shooting action. Missions are separated into 3 districts, each containing 5 levels in which the Superpets must destroy Lexbots, dodge obstacles, and rescue strays. At the end of each district, Krypto and Ace must take on one of Lex Luthor's finest creations in a boss battle. Our heroes are not alone on their adventures, as some of the other Superpets show up in a supporting role. Ship will use his Green Lantern powers and temporarily give the player extra firepower. Morton will give you a bit of a speed boost, and PB will replenish some of your health while defending you with a shield. The shooting stages are occasionally broken up by short QuickTime sequences in which players must hit a certain button within a certain amount of time to destroy the advancing Lexbots. There is also a little mini card game in which players must match the rescued strays with the perfect owner, but the majority of this game is the rail shooting section, which unfortunately gets very repetitive very quickly. Now we'll talk more about that momentarily. The graphics of this game are one of the high points of this title. The environments are full of color and the character models look exactly like their film counterparts. The audio of this title does not fare as well, as the soundtrack features one song, and the one-liners spouted by the main characters are repeated over and over. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart did not lend their voices to Krypto and Ace respectively, and while the voice actors did an admirable job, they still sound a bit off. DC League of Superpets: The Adventures of Krypto and Ace suffers from the same fate as the majority of movie tie-in games. With some exceptions, these titles are usually put out quickly to cash in on the popularity of a specific property, and the quality of the product suffers. While DC League of Superpets: The Adventures of Krypto and Ace isn't a terrible game, it feels more like a mobile game than a full-price title. While the graphics and control aren't bad, the gameplay becomes repetitive very quickly, and the minigames are not enough to break up the monotony of this one-note title. The entire game plays like a bonus level of a much larger game, and I completed this title in about 2 hours. This game was definitely designed for younger gamers, but even the most patient child will get bored rather quickly. I can only recommend this game to super fans of the DC League of Superpets franchise, and children are probably better off getting some of the licensed toys and creating their own adventures. Till next time.